it's ironically it was a long, deep look inward that led us to that name, and I think that any time you're an organization, and especially one that serves the type of membership that we serve, really have to pay attention to symbolism and legacy and the things that resonate with the people that you want to serve. And we looked at where we've been and where we are, and then thought a lot about where we're going. And a lot has changed from the time in 1938 when some officers sat together and pooled their resources. And our job is to kind of be true to that and to honor that and not forget where we came from and how we started, but to continue to build on that and evolve. And we felt that after a 10-year run of the marketing division of National Police Credit Union and the success that we've had in adding over 400 departments and associations, the fact that we have offices or affiliated offices in many other states besides Illinois, and specifically in the city of Chicago. We're in Ohio, we have an office in Indiana, we have one in Missouri, we have employees that are in other states that we actively market. It just made sense that broadening the name to National Police Federal Credit Union was better representative of who we have become, and probably most importantly, where we're headed. I think the most important word of that branding is police. And that's the center and the focus, and that's who we are, that's who we serve, that's essentially what we're all about. And by modernizing the name, but ensuring that police is the focus, that's really, I think, the strength of, not just what we're trying to do, but the differentiator between us and, anybody else that we're competing against, specifically for police officers. We want people to know, our members to know, that we can do anything that big banks can do, but the difference is that we do it specifically for police officers. The first one is the legacy of Chicago Patrolmen's Federal Credit Union. Frankly, had it not been, and still is, such a strong trademark and brand for 86 years, we probably would have made the change a lot sooner. That is sort of coupled with the fact that change does not come easy. It doesn't come easy to the general public. It's even more difficult for police officers. And kind of talked about that in other forums in the past. And so that's obviously something that we're not taking lightly. So one of the things was, how do we handle that brand? And so some of the things, I've been looking at it more like it's still trademarked. We still own that. In some ways, we will always be Chicago Patrolmen. But we're going to find ways to honor it as time goes forward. And that was one of the ways that actually helped us move forward with the new name. Looking at it like we're not eliminating something, we're just adding to it. And for the sake of unity and simplicity, let's find a name that represents all of us, not just the people in Chicago, but Ohio for sure, and the other states that I mentioned. So, we all have, as employees of the credit union, we have gear and shirts and fleeces and coats and everything that says Chicago Patrolmen. That's not going away. As I've mentioned a couple times, in the lobby of the building that we're sitting in Terrasso, is the Chicago Police Star. We're not going to jackhammer that up and take it out. In fact, I think, although this is not for certain yet because we're still getting bids, but for regulatory purposes, we have to change the signage on the outside of these buildings. We're looking at how we can do that without removing Chicago Patrolmen as the logo, because in Chicago, that's what matters most. Now, from there, we have to also look at the things that we're doing to expand aren't just for our sake or for the police officers that work and live in other states. It's for the members here as well. without getting into a lot of detail, I mean, there's a ton of competition, and despite what some people may think, our margins, meaning the difference between what it costs to operate and what it costs, what revenue we bring in, are very, very, very thin. And so when we talk about, economies of scale and finding that, growth, it's not an ego thing, it's a survival thing. It's a way forward, and we've always felt that we want to be the ones that are in charge of our own destiny, that we run this business in a way that ensures as best as we can that it survives well into the future. And this is another way of doing that. So the name change is beneficial to all of the traditional legacy members of Chicago Patrolmen, because this is a step that we can take, a definitive step that we can take to ensure that we're going to continue to be able to serve them for many, many years going forward. And reach the second part of that mission, which is ensuring that we bring the same quality, depth, and breadth of services and products that we bring here to Chicago to as many police officers in the United States as we possibly can, especially those that don't have easy access to another police credit union. It is, for federal regulatory purposes, it's important to note that we are a financial cooperative, but that doesn't bring business in the door. What brings business in the door is our demonstration that we understand and appreciate and are dedicated to police officers, and it's the police officers that happen to form the financial cooperative that creates the credit union. When we were fortunate enough to merge with the Akron Fire Police Credit Union, and that merger was finalized in 2023, that presented us with a very welcome challenge, which is we need to ensure that we're also as capable of serving firefighters as we are police officers. On the whole, and as part of the broader membership, it's a smaller piece, but a very valuable piece and a very important piece for us to understand. As part of the process of figuring out what brand we were going to unify under going forward, one of the things we talked about first, how to treat the legacy Chicago Patrolmen's brand name. The second thing was how can we be true to ourselves and ensure that we are just as capable of serving firefighters. And the initial thought was that we would try to unify under a completely brand new name that signified first responders. Ultimately, we decided that would be a little disingenuous, because even though they are part of our field of membership and an important part of our field of membership, as a collective group, we're still trying to figure out exactly what they need, what are the unique things about firefighters, and what in what ways, if any, do they need to be served differently than police officers. So rather than potentially dilute who we are and talk about a broader audience in the spirit of that is who we ultimately want to appeal to, we erred in the side of let's say who we are and talk about the steps that we're going to take to continue to evolve and get better with a broader membership base. So that led to, it was very similar to the thought process 10 years ago when we started the marketing division, National Police Credit Union. We're at that point solely a Chicago organization. We know what Chicago police officers need. We think we have a good idea that those will carry over to other cities and other states. But until we get there, I don't know that we can just call ourselves that. It would have seemed disingenuous 10 years ago, whereas now it's the natural part of the evolution. So it's the same thing as we look at firefighters. We have them in our field of membership. We're proud to have them. Right now, every firefighter that belongs or can belong is in the state of Ohio. Let's figure out with Ohio, with the members that we have, with the employees who come from firefighter families and understand a little bit more about that. Let's listen to what they have to say. Let's figure out what those needs are, and let's start building that brand the same way that we built National Police. I think there's going to be synergy. I think we've learned a lot over the last 10 years, just in marketing in general and how to handle a marketing division. I have no reason to believe that this is going to be any different, but I'm respectful of the fact that firefighters are a different segment. Everybody unites under the term first responders, but even the way in which people respond first, they do so differently and with a different set of circumstances and potentially different needs. So, long answer to the short question, but that's a way that we believe is the best way forward, to be true to our police roots, but to signal how important firefighters are going to be to us going forward, particularly in Ohio. I think the answer is going to continue to evolve as seemingly everything does. Right now, though, it looks a little different than I thought that it would a few years ago. Or let's just say that what we needed to do a few years ago is, I think, different than what we need to do now. Right now, what growth looks like is we need to develop stronger relationships and more inroads with the departments and associations who are already in the field of membership. So we've spent, and understandably so, a good part of the last 10 years adding departments and expanding the field of membership, and that's gone very well. And the pace of that success is continuing. I think that we would best be served before we grow to too many departments and associations is to make sure that we have given due credit and worked diligently with those already here to make sure we're serving all of those needs. And I think that looks different to both police officers within departments and then the different departments themselves. Our job is by turning that focus a little more inward than outward, out trying to add a bunch of new associations and departments, and looking inward and saying, department by department, here's where they are, this is what we've done with them so far, this is the number of employees and family members in that particular field of membership, how many do we have, what can we do to add more, not just for our sake, but for the department's sake. Some departments are going to have an emphasis on they need more financial training and education. Some departments, might be more remotely located, and they just need to have the ease and convenience that a mobile app and online banking and those types of things can add. And so it isn't so much, hey, we need a lot of personal attention. It's, I need to be able to do my banking without worrying about where the ATM is or the nearest shared branching or whatever the case is. Some associations really benefit from our police business services, and not a lot of them know about it yet. Lodge checking is another differentiator. I think there are still police officers in our field of membership who don't know that we offer end-of-watch debt protection that covers up to $850,000 in loans that they would owe the credit union. I think we need to, again, that look inward. We need to make sure that we are giving everything that we've got to every department, every individual member and prospective member who's already in the field of membership, strengthening those relationships, creating opportunities, finding out what they need, and then figuring out, okay, how is this a mutual benefit? If we're adding more employees from your department and we are doing X for you, how does that work? What does that look like? That's really what I think growth is going to look like. The second piece of that is we've had, as one of our core objectives for at least the last 20 years, convenience, providing convenience or making it as easy as possible for our members to do business with us. Well, from 20 years till now, the definition of that has changed for some people. Some members would say, what's convenient for me is I want to be able to pick up a phone and talk to somebody and just ask my questions. A lot of members would say, I could care less if I ever talk to anybody or meet anybody at the credit union. I need to know that if I press a couple buttons, wherever I am and whatever I'm doing, I can get done what I need to get done with the credit union. Right? We need to make sure we understand that. We need to make sure that we have everything for those that are really just looking for the more modern version of convenience, and we still have everything that the members who are thinking more in the traditional sense, that we have everything for them as well. If we do that, I believe that will lead to growth. I'm still an in-person type of a guy. I appreciate sitting across the table from somebody or being in a live environment. But there are a lot of people that either don't prefer that or just have a schedule that just doesn't work for going to a place and time and finding parking and all the things that comprise that experience. So we've definitely taken some steps to we do a lot of in-person seminars. We found that the things that are most popular, especially in Chicago, are things that relate to financial planning, the steps that you need to take for probably the 5 years leading up to retirement, things that you can do to ensure that your will and estate planning is up to date and that you're availing yourself of all the new laws, all the way to hey, if you're having trouble managing your finances or putting together a budget, let's talk about that. You're going to buy your first home, we do a seminar on that. We've even done seminars on non-standard topics like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and here's how you learn about it, and some things that you want to take into consideration. Now we are finding ways to convey that information through virtual webinars. We do have the ability to, for those departments that want that service, we do have the ability to go on the road and go to places. We got a couple dates in Arizona after the first of the year to provide financial fitness and that home buyer seminar that I was talking about. So, it's the importance is the conveyance of that education, right? We know that we're all better off when we make decisions with being fully educated, especially financial decisions. And if we can convey that information via our website, articles and things that we post there, virtual webinar, in-person seminars. We also have we're actually part of the curriculum at the training academy. It is a requirement before any recruit becomes a full-fledged police officer that they take our financial training. So I think we've expanded that greatly over the last few years, and we've definitely increased the reach of those programs. And if people have a need or an idea of either a topic or how they would want it conveyed that we're not thinking of, we're open to that. It's very scalable. As a broad community, we're going to be better if our police officers are stronger, right? And if we can have a hand in that, if we can help them through education or taking the worry out through the end of watch debt protection, or just making sure that we have a one-stop shop so that they don't have to parse time and go all over the place to get all of their financing needs met. That I think is a big contribution and how I would try to define our level of community engagement. The patches obviously are very central to police uniforms and police identity. From what I've seen, every single police municipality or department, their patches differ from the next. It's like snowflakes, right? I haven't seen any that are exactly the same. And so over the years, we've collected quite a few, either through the process of signing somebody up and sitting across the desk from the chief and exchanging patches, because we've done variations of the credit union one in the past. But we've accumulated many of them, and it occurred to us one day, hey, we should do something different with these. So the idea that we came up with was to take the patches, take a photo or a photo of it, put it on social media, and use it as an opportunity for each of those individual departments to highlight some things about them, how long they've been a department, something unique or fun, trivia, how many officers they have, any unique duties that they do, because some police officers are responsible for certain things in certain jurisdictions. And it's really, in my opinion, a nice combination of the present, social media posts, gathering followings, creating likes and that sort of thing through the various platforms, but using the symbolism and the tradition that has been part of policing for as long as there's been police departments, and as a way for ourselves and other members in our field of membership to learn something about that particular department. So it was pretty fun project. It's still ongoing. There's a lot of different stories out there. It does give, for those that want to participate, it does give those departments an opportunity to be highlighted on our social media platforms. Generally, we put it out there for about a week or so. You know, for me, I think any little thing that we can do to reinstill some pride and bring back some of the positives and the highlights is a good thing. One of the greatest freedoms that we all have is the freedom to choose our options, to have options that are available to us, right? And I think that just making sure that more police officers than there are today know we're here, this is what we do, this is what our mission is, we're here for them, we want to continue to improve and you know, help them meet all their life's financial goals. Greater awareness is a huge key to what I think the next couple of years look like. If we have that, you know, everybody still has the freedom to decide, I want to do business with them or not, but at least we've given them another viable option that they're not currently aware of. By the way, we're doing that while making sure that we're still taking very good care of the people that are already here. So it's the combination of those two things. And you know, I hope that we make a decision point either very clear, so that, in other words, police officers are saying, I got it, you know, these guys, they've got everything, or that we make it extremely difficult in the event that it's not clear, that there's at least a thought process that says, I don't know if I'm going to do business with them, but I better have a good reason not to, because why would I be going anywhere else unless I have, you know, an option, a financial option with the police credit union that is already taking really good care of it. We're going to keep it smiley and happy.